Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to episode 12 of the Badger Call. My guest today, sponsored by the Little Kitchen, Pip Nightingale, a long custodian of local cricket. How many years do you think you've been playing cricket? When did you start playing cricket?
I'm actually one of the rare ones. I started watching cricket before I started playing cricket. And I started watching in 1984. And it was the Great West Indian side came over. But they were on the telly.
Yeah.
And I got to watching it on BBC. My dad caught me watching it. And he took me down for my 10th birthday to see the West Indians play at Derbyshire. So
Oh, really?
saw like Viv Richards and he was captain in the side, but it was the way, I'm going to use this as the theme, it was the way they warmed up. It just got me hooked on cricket straight away. This Viv, he wasn't the usual captain, but he captained in the tour matches because Clive Lloyd was the test captain. So Clive was having a rest, but Viv had lined up the fast bowlers one side of the Derby County ground, and he and Jeff Dujon, the wicket keeper, went to the other side, literally the width of the ground. And this bloke, Dujon chucked it up to him, and one flick of the wrist, Viv was hitting high catches across the width of the ground. And I thought, that's the sport for me. Just to be able to hit it like that once, that would be brilliant.
Have you ever hit it like that? I've hit some big ones, but not that.
I've hit. I know you could probably count my sixes, probably a dozen sixes in my life, something like that. But I have hit a few sweet ones. I've hit a six on Meadows, which is no mean feat.
Yeah, they're always good on Meadows. I've hit 5 or 6 now, I reckon, at Meadows. It's a big hit there. It's not like Whitemore, is it?
Yeah. No, but Whitemore, I love Whitemore. I'm one of. It's such a quaint little ground. It's my local ground. 2 minutes to walk around.
Yeah.
So I like playing on Whitemore. But yeah, actually playing, it all came about because I went down and watched a few matches with my friends, and when it rained, we went into the nets. And from that, I was invited down to Ambergate Nets down in 1986 when I was about 11. So I got into cricket then playing under, it was Alan Poplar who was still knocking around.
I know the name.
He got me.
I know the name.
He's the groundsman down. He's still down at Ambergate, but his lads were really good at cricket. Stuart Poplar. He was literally, got me involved. But I actually played my first game of cricket. It was away at Sawley Long Eaton Park in the under-13s with many good players at the time. It was like Ben Spenlow, who played Premier League with Sawley, etc. Ian Parkin was another good spinner. There was Snow Marshall, there was Rob Tomlinson, there were all these who've gone into local cricket and played really high level.
Yeah.
And then there was one little 8-year-old who was number 11 to my number 10. Robert Marshall played in my first match, and we batted together as 10 and 11. And I think I only ran a bye or something like that.
Yeah.
But, I can remember Rob. He
was more a bowler then. The day there when 2 young ones score a run. Someone scored 100 earlier on. Yeah, you get the two young ones scoring a run. It always gets the biggest cheer.
Yeah, but then, like I say, I only played. I think it was 5 or 6 matches for Ambergate. So I was under 12 that year. Played under 13s the next year, but then they hadn't got a side for under 15s. So junior cricket back then was very random. There weren't many teams around. There wasn't nothing, and like I say, it wasn't tiered like it is today. So it went straight from the 13s to the 17s, and I was nowhere near good enough to get in Ambergate under 17s, not as a 13, 14-year-old only just started playing. So I had a couple of years out of the game, and then I was on the paper round, and a bloke came out and says, "You used to play at Ambergate, didn't you?" I said, "Yeah, yeah." "You're still interested in cricket?" "Yeah, yeah." And I was starting up under 17 team up at Parameters, and that started that. So that was about 1989 when I was 15, and I went right the way through to 2005 at Parameters. So played a lot there. Played worked my way up from number 11 in the second team to I had a season opening the batting and keeping wicket in the first team, and that was a decent standard. You're talking back when it wasn't Premier 1, 2, it was like 3A, 3B.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
That's
and then you had like.
That's when I started playing.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed that time, but I had a bit of that with them in 2005 and came down to the Meadows, sort of light, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Until that point, I'd only ever been a player, but I joined the Meadows quite successful time. They've got a first team pushing to get promoted from, I think it was from Division 2 into Division 1 at the time, but they were spending lots of money on overseas and everything. I mean, the second season I was there, you had a couple of Pakistani lads, Asad Ali and Mozam. I'm trying to think, what was it? Mozam's last name is, anyway. Probably Ali. And we had AJ Marsh playing as well, and Johnny Mohammed, and they were really trying to push to make that jump up into Division 1. They've also got a lot of young players who'd come through the system, like Ben McGonigal, James Cox. Joe Carnelli was a phenomenal player as well. So the first team was kind of cruising, and I joined me and my brother joined mid-season from the same club. So I couldn't play in the league. I just played on the Sundays to let my brother play, who's a better all-round player. Yeah. And he established himself in the third team, took a few wickets and scored a few runs and got selected for the second team. So that kind of put a gap between us again. When I started playing in 2006, I was part of John Borland's third team. And that was a really good young side. Again, you've got loads of players. I heard Boise mention it was hard to get in that side. It was really hard.
Yeah, I remember playing against that third team. I mean that's one of the very few times that I played against you, you and your brother. It was at Whitemore. And it was a game when I think it must have been 2006 because it was a World Cup year. I think England were playing at 5 o'clock kickoff or something like that, and we ended up starting the game about 11 o'clock in the morning, and we ended up getting run for about 40 anyway, and I think we were done before the original start time. But yeah, it was.
I can't remember that. Yeah. We actually won the league that year because again, it was when the rains came as well. I think 2006, 2007, and we only played 11 games, but we won all 11. And we only won the league by a handful of points because some of the other sides had played like 15 games and lost 2 to us, but they'd won the other 13, if you know what I mean. So it was one of those really good competitive leagues. I remember Chris Whiteley, he was pretty special. I mean, like, there was him, me and Jeff would bat 1, 2 and 3, depending on the conditions, depending on the thing. And Chris, even at 13, he was scoring 40s, 50s for fun, And Jeff would set his stall out to bat through the innings. He would score you 60, 70 runs. And it didn't matter whether it was Chris batting with him, he would be the aggressor, and Jeff would anchor, or me, the aggressor, if I was batting with Jeff. But if it was me and Chris, I'd be the one that rotated the strike and gave him the strike kind of thing, anchored beginnings kind of thing. Because we had some big hitters then. Chris Henson, starting out 5. And then you've got like people like Ben Gowen and Mitch Robinson and people like that who all went through the Amber Valley system with Chris Whiteley, all vying for those positions. So I felt sorry for people like Boise and who turned up for training and didn't get a game on a Saturday. They were only offered Sunday cricket and things like that. It was hard to break into that side. So it was a settled side. That was it. You find that when the first team, the second, the third team, and there isn't that come in, or it's really tough for people to break in. It was then really competitive, and when you think now, it's not quite that competitive anymore.
No,
maybe it is.
There was those few years in the around 2010, was it? Around that era when club struggled massively. Well-known fact that the club.
It was part of the it was part of the exodus, which left. When I left the club, I was second team captain, and Mike Cox was first team captain, because McGonigal had gone, Jenkins had gone, they just started filtering away. Dave Whiteley had gone, etc. So it was like, what do we do? And we were having to start from scratch, and you were just going down a spiral. First team couldn't win a game, second team couldn't win a game, third team were lucky if they could get 11 to play.
Yeah.
It was, you could see it coming, and I probably jumped ship at that time because I'd learned so much at Meadows. I'd been on the committee, I'd got my coaching badges, I'd seen how a club should run. I got them club marked for the first time. Club mark's a massive thing with all the paperwork and everything like that. But so I'd learned so much from playing with good players and learned from good captains. Like I say, John Borland was a really good captain. Gonny led from the front. Brookie was Brookie. Everybody knows Brookie. So I'd seen what could be achieved, and I went back. And you've talked about this before, about coming from a small club background. I was that small club background, and what I saw at the Meadows at the time, although everything at the top was going wrong, everything at the bottom was right. They got this production line of good young players coming through. Like when Chris Whiteley got bumped to the second team, Joe Slater slept straight into the third team. You've got Adam Wheatcroft replacing, Johnny Wisnika Wells or Keith Malin or whoever had gone up.
Yeah.
There was another cab off the rank, and I thought, I went back to my original club, and like I say, they'd got no junior system whatsoever. So I knew I could have an impact there, and I went back, and the very first year they asked me to be secretary. So I got heavily involved. I got them club mark and started the money flowing in. We got like an artificial pitch, and so set up an under 11 hardball team, and from that it just cascaded. So the following 5-6 years was really, really successful.
Yeah, I think.
But, when you're doing,
if you want to be a big club in local cricket, you've got to set that foundation early. You've got to have that youth set up.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. And it's like creating a pyramid, really. One of the first things I did was apply for 2 quick cricket sides instead of the 1. And I went into the schools with my little leaflets I printed off, and just bombarded them and said, come up and play. And suddenly you've got like 25 kids playing quick cricket. And you're like, that's brilliant. Because then when you come to under 11, the best 10 got to play hardball, and the rest of them were playing. That you could filter in your hardballers with your quick cricketers, and just created a pyramid.
Yeah,
Like that.
absolutely.
And you've got 12s, 13s, 15s. We even had an under 90 at one time, which they were fine, but trying to compete with like Quandon and Ockbrook
Yeah,
and
there's
Denby,
some pretty
you've
decent
got no
teams.
chance.
But, like
Yeah,
when they're under 19, they've been playing adult cricket for 6, 7 years
yeah.
by that point, so that it is a decent standard. Like,
Well, we even pitched a few. We've got Scott Gadsby, George Hudson, and that came and helped. But the golf was just too big,
yeah,
But it's one of them things. When you talk about coloured kit and colour, yeah, it can work. It can work, and it does get the kids interested. I mean, like we had a kit reveal night and everything, and they all came because I've got them one of these fancy kukri kits, 12-week lead time made in India, or they're all jazzed up with their own logos and everything.
I'll try to get
And they
I'll try to
loved
get
it.
Jamie to do a catwalk with our new kit. I'll try
Yeah,
to do a little catwalk, walking around with it for Instagram. But yeah, I mean, we'll get onto that in a bit about colour kits and that. But so on your cricketing career, do you remember what your first bat was? Remember what your first?
oh yes, right. Yeah, I got into cricket, like say 11, 12, and my dad took me up to a sports shop in Chesterfield, and I got an Ian Botham Duncan Fernley match. Was my first cricket match. £13,
Well, they
and
ones
it was
that
the size.
were really wide.
It was thick. It was
Yeah.
probably an inch thick, right? It was a Harrow size, but it was a pound. And I can remember my dad going, "You've got to hold it out," like that, and I can remember the sweat
It was
coming
very
down
soft,
me,
yeah.
and I'm having this bat. I'm having this bat. But yeah, it was one I'd used for the next probably 4 years, until I was 17-ish kind of thing. Because even the adults would borrow it. It was that heavy. I hit my first league match was in 1989 when I was 15 at Bredsall. So I hit my first ever four with it, right?
Yeah.
And I was a proper number 11. I was at this time. I'd probably batted a handful of times. That's it. Played around in the net.
Yeah.
But I was batting with my mate, and I took a massive swing, tried to hit it over mid wicket, and everybody started clapping. And I'm like, I just turned around, and I saw it go one bounce down the hill, straight over the wicket keeper's head. It was a top edge. It had just gone boom, So
Four in the
I heard
scorebook.
you say like, yeah, it said 4 in the scorebook, but it was one of them horrible games where we got up to 67, I think it was, but I went in, it was 40 for 9, and me and my mate put on half the score. So that was one of my first fond memories of playing cricket. So yeah. So Ian Botham matches was me first bat, and then I went to, I think it was Gunnermore Cavalier. I had one of those, which wasn't very good. And then Brian Lara hit the news, and I had a Scoop 2000.
Yeah, good bat.
That was one of my favourites.
What have you got now?
Since then, I've always gone for Newbury. I've had about
Yeah.
4 or 5 Newbury bats.
Yeah, I've got Callum on later. He's a big Newbury fan. He has all the Newbury stuff.
I love the Newburys because they name them after swords, don't they? So I've had like a couple of samurais.
I've never used the Newbury bat.
No.
I've always been predominantly grey nickels. It's just something I've always used.
Well,
Not even like for any. I think it's their pads what I really like. Just like the.
Well, I'm a full kit badger.
Yeah.
I mean, like last year, it was against Ilkeston on the Stoop, and it was that game where Noah got his 50 to get promoted into the second team. But I opened the batting with Tomo, And he's got an old Newbury with like a corner missing and this, that, the other. And he was just hitting the ball. And I'm like, that's flying off that bat. He says, yeah, well, your bat's knackered, youth. And I'm like, there's probably something in that. I hadn't had a new bat in about 7 years. So I went straight up to how's that? Bought a Newbury Excalibur. And, next time I batted, I mean, like, by the end of the season, you saw that.
Great Knicks have done an Excalibur as well, haven't they?
Yeah. They used to do that. Yeah, but it was like by the end of the season, I wasn't even in any form at Duffield, and I was hitting it off the toe, the back of the bat, and it was just flying for four off this new bat.
It does make a massive
Believe
difference.
in the bat.
It does make a massive difference. Yeah. I don't even watch the Coops video, but his argument, one of his was he wants everyone to have the same bat because I think something for that thing where you could have a really good bat, but have a shocking time that it just flies off. About like the bat I've got at the moment, it's 350, 400 quid. And yeah, it goes like shit off it. It's brilliant. you can get away with a lot of it.
Well, like I say, I've probably had a dozen bats in my life. My brother was totally different. He'd have 4 bats a season. 2 for the Nets, 1 for a Sunday, 1 for a Saturday. Crazy. And he was the one. I had lots of people saying the GM heroes.
Yeah.
I remember he got one from the factory. It was Marcus Triscoffick's, mate or somebody.
Yeah.
And it was like, it wasn't a £300-400 bat. It was an £800-900 bat. It was, the wood was that soft, and it just pinged off it.
Yeah.
I think it's still got it somewhere.
For some reason, someone lent me there's one. I've used a mongoose, which was pretty expensive, and I got out first ball trying to chip it down the ground, and it just pinged off it. I caught on the boundary, and I was literally trying to chip it to mid off because the field was set back, and it absolutely flew off it. And it's like, and I think at that point I was like, I'm gonna have to invest in a better bat.
And again, now I mean, like for the last 5 or 6 years, I was at the amateurs. I was playing less and less. I was like coaching more on the side and watching, and I wasn't bothered about playing anymore. But when I came back to Meadows, it was like, right, strip it back. What made you love the game? It was like playing. So what do I want to do? I want to bat. I want to play in the third team, get some runs, get up, challenge for that second team position, because I still got something to play for. At the age of 45, I've heard you say to the other guys, what do you want to achieve? And one big thing for me is I've never scored 100. I've done literally everything else in cricket, taken a hat trick, taken a fiver,
Two early whirlies.
Yeah, with the 2 early whirlies. It was perfect hat trick as well. It was leg stump, middle stump, and off stump with a wrong end, a big leg spinner, and a straight on her. So yeah, all 3 bowled. Wicked. But yeah, I've done quite a lot, and playing wise, but I've never scored that 100, and I've still got that desire. I know if I can work on my fitness and whatever. I mean, look at Tomo's perfect example.
Yeah.
Someone like me, he only really started playing the game at 45. Seriously, got roped into the Meadows third team, and now he scores 200 or 300s every season, and you're like, blimey. Yeah, I reckon I've got one in me. I reckon I've got one in me. I can remember giving John Borland out on 99, and he'd never ever got 100. I don't think he'll ever forgive me that. But there's others.
I won't forgive it.
It was out. It was LBW. It was out. He'd run me out earlier in the match as well, and I was out. It says out in the book there.
Obviously, you are just a massive cricket fan. Are you Derbyshire member?
Yeah. I've got the T20 Blast member. I've been a member in the past. I've been all around the world watching cricket. So been to Australia twice, Caribbean twice, and New Zealand.
Favorite place to favorite place to watch cricket. Favorite ground. What's your favorite ground in the whole world? It like international venue. Where you've watched England. What is the best ground?
The best ground is the MCG by an absolute million miles. It's like the amphitheatre in Gladiator.
Yeah.
And I was there when Shane Warne took his 700th wicket, Andrew Strauss, in front of his home crowd on Boxing Day, and there was 92,000 there. So
the noise when that happens.
It was amazing. The whole experience was amazing. But done 2 Boxing Day tests at the MCG.
Was it one of those surreal experiences where you've watched an Australian get an English batsman out, but you feel like you need to clap it or cheer like?
I've been to a few like that. The best one by a million miles was the previous tour. I was at Sydney, and Steve Waugh was captain of Australia, and he'd batted for 2 sessions and was on 96 when Richard Dawson was delivering the last ball of the day.
Yeah.
Right, and at the start of the day, there was 35,000 people there. Right, well, all the locals had disappeared. You know, there was probably 15,000. 20,000 left in 20,000 left in the ground, half bullish kind of thing. Well, 15,000 of them were English, right? And Steve Waugh just caressed this ball through the covers for 4, and there was not one person sat down in that ground. Everybody, all the England fans, were up on their feet. Just wow! It was just unreal, unreal experience. Because a cricket fan's a cricket fan.
Cricket's one of those sports where you just have to appreciate just good cricket at times. Like,
well, I remember the thing though. So I went with my brother, and we always had a bet on who would score the most in the innings. And I put like 20 quid on Steve Waugh, so I thought I was in the box seat. And we turned up the next morning, and Waugh was out for like 101 or something like that. I think he got a single and then got out. Well, there was Adam Gilchrist at the other end, and my brother had backed him, and he hit literally 107 in like an hour and a half. It was crazy. I'd seen him do. I saw him do it 4 years later at Perth, and he scored 100 off. I think it was 55 balls. It's still the second quickest ever in a test match.
Yeah,
the bloke was brilliant. But like I say, going back to the bet, my brother put 20 quid on, right? And Gilchrist was only just breaking into the side at that time. He'd taken over from the Healy kind of thing. We haven't seen him over here. He hadn't come for an Ashes over here and destroyed us or anything at that point. But so we got rather long odds on it. And we went out for 2 of the beers and everything on this money. And it was brilliant, from that. So I've never been so happy to lose a bet because, like, Steve Waugh was on or something like that. He was really short odds, whereas Gilchrist coming in at 7 was well down the pecking order. But yeah, done that. That was a really good one. And the other I was there moment was. Saw Brian Lara score 400 at Antigua Recreation Ground.
I'd love to be there, but I watched every minute of that on TV. That was.
And I still swear he nicked up to
Were you there for the whole series?
I was there for the 3rd and 4th Test matches. The Barbados match.
It's one of those forgotten things that everyone talks about. The 401, and I think Ridley Jacobs got a ton that as well.
178, I think it was. Oh God, he made that ground look tiny. He was hitting it further than Lara.
People forget in that series, England absolutely panned them. Like Palmerston took 7 for 12, and Thorpe got a couple of tons.
We were looking up at Barbados. We were actually stopped in the England hotel with the England players and everything. And I remember when Thorpe got his 100, and his 100 in Barbados, it was out of 220. So it was one of those
Yeah.
innings which held
It was with
everything
the tail.
together.
It was with the tail as well. It was.
And I remember he, I bumped into him in the reception, and he was ordering a bottle of champagne for the room and just shagging his new miss. It was brilliant. It was just one of those things. But he stopped for 5 minutes talking me through every shot, and it was just like if me and you had scored 100. It
Yeah.
was just that excitement, that
Yeah.
and that's what makes it real. Going to watch the cricket, they are like you, me,
Yeah.
whatever. They do things like
Yeah.
that.
Graham Thorpe had one of the best sayings I've ever heard in cricket. He said his method of batting was slay your way in, then play your way in. So he'd literally just like try and smash his way to 20, then play properly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I- it was a bit of a choker though, wasn't it? He'd get to like 17, get out. He'd find extreme
Like Joe Root
ways of
now.
getting out,
He's like Joe
and
Root now.
and I always remember watching him and going, "Don't change your gloves, don't change your gloves, don't change your gloves," because he'd get to like 75 and then go, "Cool, change his gloves and be out like next ball," and you go,
Yeah.
"No." So I'm one of those superstitious cricketers. I am, I'm not put probably I'm not put left pad on, right pad on, but I like to bat odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I believe in that kind of thing. All these little things add up to go in your favour. Like you've said, faith in the bat.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. You need all these little bits of luck.
You spoke about like Viv Richards earlier. He was like the one who kind of inspired you to play cricket, get involved in cricket. Would you say he's your all-time favourite, or have you got has someone else overtaken that?
It's hard to say. I'd say Botham. Botham was the guy because Botham, right? We've talked about Thorpe being like me and you kind of thing. Botham was like me, an overweight kind of guy who liked the beer, uh, and he'd somehow managed to turn up and just turn it on at the
Yeah.
right times. He could smack the Australians out of the park. He'd bowl a long hop and somebody would smash it straight at gully and get the crucial
He was the
wicket.
first person I ever got first cricketer I ever got an autograph of. He was
Yeah.
commentating on a game at Derbyshire.
All right.
In like when Sky used to put that temporary box next to the old scoreboard. And me and mates just stood at the bottom, and he came down and signed our autographs. And I got David Gowers as well.
Yeah.
He was out there. So yeah, he was one of the first people. He's just a nice bloke as well, isn't he? Just
It is, and like I say, it kind of went from him to Dominic Court to Flintoff, and now Stokes. Stokes is just phenomenal. I like that linchpin player in the middle, the game changer. I had Stokes a couple of years ago. I had some time out of the game for whatever reason. I'm not going to go into it, but one of the things I did was read Stokes' autobiography.
yeah,
And he spoke how he dealt with time out of the game and anger issues and all
yeah,
these kind of things. And I thought I could really relate to that guy. He's just a normal guy, so same as
yeah.
anybody else. He's just phenomenally talented. You
Well,
know,
like you always get it with the very best players, not just in cricket, but in any sport. That there is madness in the genius in the genius. Like
yeah.
and where they're so
But
creative in a sport, they do lack something somewhere
yeah,
else.
and this is why I mean, like Stokes probably edges both of them and people like that because they were all the ego, they were all the bravado, and I'm going to impose myself on you. Whereas Stokes is so humble.
Yeah,
He just does it. He's learned that from his experiences.
yeah.
The player
He
who
has to
won the World
control
Cup
himself, doesn't he?
final, and it's made him into, and I really appreciate, that's a player, that's somebody who would make a good leader. He is a good leader with that
Yeah,
thing, and I wouldn't burden him with the captaincy because I've seen it destroy both of them. I've seen Court it go to Cork's head, and
Well,
Flintoff was
that's with
one.
Flintoff. Since Flintoff kind of became a bit of a laughing stock
Yeah,
after he became captain and had the whole Pedalo incident, and he kind of
yeah,
tarnished his England career because everyone seems to remember two things about Flintoff's England career: the 2005 Ashes and the Pedalo incident. And
that's
granted,
right.
he didn't really do that much else for England. He had a really, really good series in the Ashes, but his actual England career, it didn't set the world on fire.
And that's why Flintoff and both of them are so, so similar. They just knew how to up their game against Australia. I mean,
Yeah.
like that 2005 series was just some of the best cricket I've
Yeah,
ever
he was
seen.
absolutely unbelievable in that series. Like as a bowler, like I know he got 100 in one of the tests, but his batting didn't really live up in that series. But bowling wise, like you just felt like every time he came onto bowl, he was going to get a wicket.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But they also had, I mean, like it was great four-pronged bowling attack with Simon Jones and Steve Armis and Matthew Hoggard as the seamers, and Giles was just the stock bowler, that kind of thing. But I think out by far that is England's best bowling unit that I've seen. I mean, Anderson and Broad are statistically the best bowlers, but in terms of a bowling unit, that 2005 side, wow, that was pretty special.
Yeah, they were pretty decent.
Yeah,
I was a big fan that when it was Anderson, Broad, Bresnan, Swan, when we panned Australia in Australia, and had like
yeah, Tremlett chipped in as well, didn't he?
yeah,
He bowled them in Melbourne, didn't he? That
yeah.
time, I think that was brilliant. He
He,
was like a replacement, he was just a replacement bowler brought in for that
yeah,
one match kind of thing.
he just seems to be. He's a bit like Chollis. He just seemed a bit too nice to be a quick bowler.
Exactly, but he's a giant of a man. He's huge.
Yeah, he must be pushing 7 foot, and he was quick as well. He was
Yeah,
pushing he was
he was.
90 miles an hour bowler,
Yeah.
pace bounce. That he just seemed to float. Like sometimes Stephen Finn, he sometimes his spells can be like hitting you here, there, and everywhere, and sometimes he just his same pace. It just seems to float down. He doesn't bowl like the same aggression.
Yeah, he was a funny one, Stephen Finn, because he started off so well and then just lost his way. Whereas,
I, I
Anderson
think
was
I
totally.
think I think he took a lot of like this flack. He became a bit of a scapegoat when England fell away a little bit, and he kind of got some unnecessary criticism, and I think it affected him quite a bit.
Yeah, he did. And so much of the game is mental as well, and something like that. Yeah, there was quite a few. I think there was a chap called Simon Kerrigan,
Yeah,
Lancashire. He played one test,
the left
he got
arm.
the yips.
Yeah,
He just couldn't bowl again after
he
that.
got about he
Because
got 50, 60
he
county
got
championship
banned.
wickets that year,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
turning it sideways, making people look stupid. Yeah, and they gave him a couple of overs, and he bottled it, and they didn't bowl him in the second innings.
that's right.
And I'm
That's
pretty
right.
sure
And that's it.
Moeen Ali started bowling then, and that's one of the reasons why
Yeah,
they started bowling Moeen Ali because Kerrigan was.
yeah, because he got no spin option. That was
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So yeah, they kind of got a blessing out of it, but yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll go on to your favourite Meadows moments.
I've
What,
I've got
what
quite a few.
individually and as a team, what's your favourite moments?
Uh, right. Let me see. Individually, I'll go back. I'll do individually in the team. There was a young lad called Rob Borland got made second team captain the first time around, and we won the cup that year. And my highlight was the semi-final because we played a team called Rolls Royce. Have you played against Rolls Royce a few times?
Yeah.
An Asian team, isn't it? And we'd played meant to play them down at the Meadows, right? And we started. It was Sunday. It was 45 over cup fixture,
Yeah.
and with they piled up. I think both their openers scored like 100 in the first one. They scored like 200 and stuff for 45 overs, and we're like, what are we going to do here?
Yeah.
And we went in for tea, and Nicole Lawton had done the tea, and because they were of the Asian persuasion, they didn't eat anything with ham in, but absolutely everything on that tea table had got ham in the pasta, ham in the salads. So that went down like a lead balloon to start with. And then it started to rain, right? And it pissed it down. We're like, right, what do we do here? And I said, the rules at that time, it was like, try again next week. So again, we started from scratch the next week. Boom, lost the toss. They battered down at Meadows, piled on about 250. Like, we've done a bit better than last week, lads. We, probably still 50 runs more than we'd expected. And this time the tea was fine. We sorted them out, a nice veggie pasta and, things like that. But the same thing happened again. Rain came down, absolutely hammered it down. What do we do now? We've played like 2 half games, kind of thing. Can't play next week. We've got like pub 6-a-side down there next week. What can we do? And we ended up playing the third Sunday at Rolls Royce. And like the first days was sunny at the start, win the toss, bat, no doubt about it. This was great. This was cold. This was horrible. And we lost the toss and we got stuck in to bat. And I remember, I think, let me think, who would be playing? I think young Joe Slater would be playing. There was Chris Whiteley and, Ben Gowan and things. But I went in and the main batsmen were out and we were like 100 for 5.
Yeah.
And I got a proper dirty 30 it was. Absolutely, just got us up to about 150, 160. Rate and bat against some of the best. Because they dropped players down from Division 2 to play this cup match on the Sunday kind of thing. So it was proper quick bowlers bouncing on a juicy wicket. And I still go, yeah, that was probably one of the best innings. And what made it even better was I was keeping wicket as well. That game managed to skittle them out for about 110, 120 a match, and get into the final. And that was a really big thing. But for one reason or another, I was suspended for the final, and Brookie came in and took my part. And that was a real nail biter. Went down like to the last ball, and Meadows won it, having posted 158. I think young bowling in the last over and managed to keep them down to 6, needed 8 runs up the last over and won by 1 run. So it's that highlight for me, because that season I played probably the best, most competitive cricket of my career at the highest level. By the way through, I was a settled number 6, 7. I was keeping in that semi-final because Chris Whiteley was on holiday, so he was back for the final to keep wicket and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that being a really, really good side, winning the cup then. So that's a good one. Last year, coming back, there was a good one as well on Whitemoor against Ilkeston. And Miles Dobson, playing in his first ever league match, took 7 wickets, kind of thing. And
I still don't know how that happened.
Won the toss. It just be every time they hit it in the air and someone caught it, and you're like, catches in the third team. It was one of those bizarre days. So they went from like 120 for 1 to 150 all out. Well, in reply, we had a bit of a stutter in reply, but Tom Howard scored something like 60, out of 100, and I'd come in about 3.
Yeah.
So I came in about number 5. So 100 for 3, chasing 150 odd. And Tomo was like, "Oh, you'll have to take over the scoring here, Pip. I'm cramped up and like this, that, the other." And you're like, "Oh my God." Well, we managed to scramble about 20 runs, and then Tomo had got out. So we still needed odd runs left.
Yeah.
And I looked at the people who were coming in, and I genuinely, at number 5, I was like, I'm going to have to score 30 of these 35 runs if we're going to win this match. You know, it was one of those we just inched closer and closer. You've got people who'd never played cricket before, people who'd never batted before, you know, all this kind of thing coming in at the other end. And I was shepherding them, thinking, I'll take the quick bowler, you take the spinner. And we inched our way closer. And I think I got within about 10 runs, and I was working it out. We've got about 3 overs left. Well, if I'm facing an ultimate over against their quick bowler, I'll hit him 4 and win the match, kind of thing. They get it done. I want to get it done. You know, we were down to about 8 wickets down at that point. There was only Miles left to pad up. You know, even Harry Cooper was out there with me or whatever. It was really, you know, you were down nail biting, and I creamed this one off leg stump, and I hit it square, and I hit Alex right, and it hit him before he jumped. He was going to jump out the way of it, and I'm thinking, there's the match right there. You know, you've just saved him 4 runs, and I was fuming at him. It was hilarious. But eventually, I had to watch.
When he does stop, then.
I had to watch the spinner bowl from the other end and just praying at 2 wickets before I got back on strike. And eventually I did hit the winning 4 to win the match. But it was one of them really tight, close games.
Yeah. It is always,
we had no right to win that. Yeah, we had no right to win that, but we somehow pulled it out of the bag. So I like that. So those are, you know, 1 or 2 of the highlights. But the ones I really liked, and you got onto Steve Fisher with the tour matches. I was first time around. I was the organizer of the club tours. So we went to Newquay in 2007. We went to Whitley Bay in 2008. We went to Weymouth in 2009. Met my lovely wife on cricket tour in Weymouth. And the best one again, we went back to Whitley Bay in 2010. But I managed, the first 3 tours, I managed to pick like the second week in July or third week in July, because you wanted everyone to come, you know, so first week of the summer holidays or whatever, planned it out. Took 50 people down to Newquay. Yeah. So it was crazy. And then it pissed it down, and we played 1 match out of the 3. And you're like, you know. But the final one, and the next 2 tours, we didn't play any cricket at all. They were total wipeouts. But the experiences we had, you know, I remember one time we went round to Whitley Bay, we went dressed out with Hawaiian shirts, went to the Greyhounds one night and went into the Newcastle town and all that. And invited Joe Whitley and some of the youngsters to the strip clubs of Whitley Bay, and you know, things like that. Another night, it was just what goes on tour stays on tour, if you know what I mean, kind of thing. But some of the stories and the things you do was brilliant. But actual cricket wise, the 3rd tour we actually played all 3 matches, and we got to play a place called Tynemouth. Like it's kind of in between Newcastle and Whitley Bay, on the mouth of the Tyne. And we turned up there, and the place was immaculate. It was a beautiful setting. It was similar to Meadows, kind of without the slope, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They've got a lovely big pavilion and everything. And we turned up. I'd taken the Aussie up, and we've got Rob Borland, we've got Pidge, we've got, you know, that kind of crowd, Henson and Matt Wheatcroft and all that. But it was those kind of age group, my brother and me. And we T20 up on this time and batted first, and we thought, oh, we've done all right, you know, scored 160, 170, you know, 20 overs, you know, we've acquitted ourselves quite well. Well, their openers were like flipping county openers. They were absolute guns. They smashed it all over the place and beat us in about 13 overs. Oh, this is a bit good. And we're like, have you got any decent players here, kind of thing? And says, well, yeah, this is have you heard of Gordon Mutchell? He was a stalwart at Durham.
Yeah.
No, but it was his club, and on the Saturday, he would have been playing against Graham Onions, who was out at the time on that pitch. So they were Premier League and above, if you know what I mean. They were a really good setup. So that was a good one. But we played and then we played someone like Bell Parameters in the second game. I forget that one quite convincingly. But Sacriston was and that was there's video kicking around on Facebook. You know, we did the drinking games after and everything. We racked up about 240, and they knocked them off in the 38th over or something. So it was a really good, you know, just to take like the Aussie away, and you know, all the kids coming, you know, teenagers, 18, 19, 20-year-olds away on tour. It's an amazing thing to do. So I'd be a heavy advocate if someone can get it organised. Yeah, it really does gel your club together.
Do you want to take that role on?
Pardon?
Do you want to take that role on of getting a tour organised? I think you'd have a fair few people wanting to go on it.
To be honest, mate, I used to do everything for it. I mean, like, I've got the collection of the 4 shirts, you know, with names and numbers on the back and everything. And it was so much hassle, right? The first time I did it through a subsidiary company called Shire Sports.
Yeah,
helped set you up. And we went down to Newquay, and we were only paying like 25 quid a night kind of thing for bed and breakfast. But with our lot being our lot at the time, the first team had a few boisterous characters, shall I say, in it. We had things like fire extinguishers being let off and people pissing up the walls in the corridors and things like that, you know. And it was too much to get your head round, if you know what I mean. But by the 3rd, 4th time, when you were just taking 15, 16 away and cracked it, you know, got decent places to play and everything, it's good. But now I don't think I could spare the time and effort to put it all together and do it, because it literally, you do need someone working on it, you know, definitely getting the fixtures together and things like that. It's quite a big task.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I'd like to go.
I think it's definitely something we've got to look at doing now. We're a pretty close club now. We've got enough people old enough to go. Maybe we've got a good age group, a good age range in the. I think it's definitely something we need to look at doing.
Definitely, and like I say, the places where went to Newquay. The game we played there, Perranporth, was just beautiful. It was, a pitch on top of the cliffs kind of thing. Beautiful scenery, and they were a really good bunch. And when one of the second games got called off, they said, just bring your lads and have an inter-game with us. We've got a few coming up to nets. We'll play you again, kind of thing. So that worked out quite well.
Yeah.
So Pidge, I remember hitting Pidge around the ribs with a bat, I think, when he was jumping in my face when I got given out LBW. I never liked being given out LBW.
Not even in a tour game.
No, not even. But it's like I say, that was probably my big impact on the Meadows last time was to bring the fun into cricket. That was what I really wanted to do.
Cricket's got to be fun, either. you just wouldn't play it, would you?
Yeah.
You've
That's
got
right.
you've got to make it. It's a long time to play a game. Yeah, we'll move on to the Room 101 features.
Okie dokie.
I know you did send them in the other day. Do you remember what they are?
Yeah, I've got them. I've listed them.
Okay.
Yeah, the format of junior cricket.
Okay.
Pardon?
Okay, you first.
Yeah, the first one's the junior cricket, the format, and the whole player pathway. It hasn't worked for a long while. I don't think. I recount what you said about George going and there's like 10 or 11 and stuff like that. It's always been like that. It's not always been Duffield. It was usually Denby when I was doing it before. And they'd recruit our players through the Amber Valley system, etc. Because the coach at the time was Kev Wilson or whatever, and they'd come to Denby and you can have some one-to-one coaching kind of thing. And I think by centralising it, I think the DCB are doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
But I think they could go further. I think you could have one of the good things from the 100 is like the draft kind of thing. If you've got the best 40 players in the county, put them into 4 groups of 10 or whatever and play 80-side cricket or whatever between that 4 groups of 10. But then you could only have like 2 from Denby in each of the teams, if you know what I mean, to split them up, to do that kind of thing. I reckon that would disperse the talent around the counties because you don't know how good the lads from Burton are or Melbourne or whatever, and you don't know. It would literally, some years you'd have teams that get whooped and some teams 4 even teams, but I think they could use the coloured clothing idea. I think that's a really good idea. Absolutely. And I think also you could go further. You could go further and reduce the costs by going, right, let's use the 100 names, Rockets, whatever, this, that, the other, get them playing in those kits, that kind of thing. So you've got like Rockets, Invincibles, they've called them, and you just put, being a central board, being an ECB thing, get a deal on the kits. It'd be cheaper than getting Derbyshire kits and this, that, the other, and make it a real spectacle. Have even have 100 games. Even have 100 games. So all 4 teams are on one site at the same time. So you've got 4 sets of parents, 4 sets of, and jazz it up. I think junior cricket really misses a trick because at the age of 13 they go to 11 aside, and you've gone right the way through from 8, 9 playing 8 aside. Where have the other 3 come from? You're expanding the size of teams at a time when they're losing interest. It's at odds with each other. You're never ever going to win. And if you're selling an outdated product like 20 over cricket, where only 3 kids get a bat and score 50 each, you're not going to keep them interested.
No.
You want a fast format, like I think Boise said it: shorter boundaries, fewer people on the pitch, more 4s, more 6s. Get the barbecue out, really print some money. That's what I would do if I was in charge of junior cricket. Do you think it's a good idea, or is that one for the bin?
I like the start of it. I did like the start of it. I like the idea of like a draft sort of thing. I know they have this change the player pathway thing where Derbyshire literally just have 2 squads now. They have an A team and a B team, so there's not Amber Valley anymore, and things like that. But yeah, like you're saying, like you don't know what the quality of standard of player is around the whole county. Like the south section could be a lot better than the north section. It could, like, there's those years it just might be better, and you want them to mix.
And that's exactly what I'm saying, because year after year, while I was involved in junior cricket for 5 or 6 years, Amber Valley was without doubt the best. You've got your Denbys and you've got your Duffields.
yeah,
You know, uh, I think Amber Valley under 13s and 15s went unbeaten for like 3 years. You know,
yeah,
because the quality, the Dales in particular, Chesterfield and that area, the kids aren't coming through. But you don't want to deprive the kids from that area. If you've got, you know, so if Chesterfield send the best 10 players and mix them all up, so they're playing with better players from Denby, from this, that, the other, the ball's not being diluted.
yeah,
It's giving them a chance, you know.
yeah, and it's kind of taken them out of their comfort zone as well. They're not with, like, say, it's not 9 Duffield players and then 2 other players from different clubs.
That's right.
Those 9
So
players are very
that's what
comfortable.
that's what I really hate about junior cricket, the cliques,
Yeah,
the parents, you know, I'm not going to call one club in particular, but I know there's kids come down from like Buxton to play, kids come from Mickleover to play, there's kids
yeah,
come from all over, because playing for that club is the only way to get on the play pathway and get
yeah.
into
It's
Derby.
ridiculous. It
And,
shouldn't,
and it's
especially
counterproductive.
especially at that age. Like, if like under 13s telling them that they need to go to this club in particular, you're like, why? Like, that, like, some people's 15s are lower than some of people's 13s. Like, they'll play a better standard. They'll get more of a chance playing our team than they will playing that.
And there's no need to harp on about it, but we've seen it happen over this winter, and
Yeah,
you know, it's when you've I mean, like, I invested a lot of time in a lot of kids, uh, and you feel stabbed in the back when they go to a bigger club. But
yeah,
when someone's put their arm around you and said, "We'll give you one-to-one coaching and we'll do this, that, the other," you've got to compete with that. Just go, play at the highest level you can. If you
yeah.
want to,
I'd never
if you can
crit.
make a career out of cricket, you've got to go.
Yeah, I've never criticised anyone for going to try and play at a better standard. But probably when Jamie was younger, I was one of his coaches at Little Eton. He got offered the chance to go to A and B midway through the season, and I told him back then when he was 16, I was like, you need to go to a different club, not necessarily a bigger club or better club, but if he couldn't get the coaching what he needed at Little Eton, I'm like, you're better off going to a club what has more structured training sessions. It didn't necessarily have to be a bigger club. They could have played in the same division. As long as they had a better coaching setup, that's what he needed. And
Yeah.
within 3 weeks of Jamie moving to A and B, he scored his first century. They just needed that little bit of structure in his game, in his training, and that's what made him a much better player. But yeah,
I would say that's probably the exception. A lot of these move to a bigger club and they can't do with the environment, the competition,
yeah,
and they find themselves marginalised because they haven't been there since they were little, and this, that,
yeah.
the other. Or the
Everyone,
latest prospect comes in.
every junior's got parents, and parents who don't follow cricket or watch cricket don't understand that if someone comes in and takes their kid's space who's been playing there for 5 years, they don't get that. They don't, and that's when that's what causes issues. That's when and that's when they lose interest in the game, because when the parents aren't enjoying it, when the kids stop enjoying it, that's why they get to 16 and stop playing.
That's right. Yeah, I've got a theory with that as well. I think what has massively changed is kids are starting younger. as well. So, like I say, now your All Stars just take 5. You know, used to be quick cricket was your starting point at around 10. But by 13, you've had 8 years.
Yeah,
You know, that's and they're just getting to that formulative stage then, and they've got so many stresses and strains with exams and things in them
yeah,
that next couple of years, and girls and whatever. It all goes into the mix, and I think the a lot of the kids by the time they're 13, they've had enough of cricket.
yeah,
Uh, and you see that massive drop off. I mean, like I said, we had a 17s league. That was junior cricket. You know,
yeah,
Uh, there's people like me who'd only played like 5 or 6 games before they were playing in the 17s league.
yeah,
Now someone you know like George or whatever will have played like 300 games or something by the time it's
yeah.
17.
And I think the big thing
It's
in
crazy.
the late 90s, early 2000s, when clubs started playing more juniors in their adult teams, it used to be like you'd have one junior maybe in that your whole squads. You could have 2 or 3 teams and you'd have one junior.
Yeah,
And then teams started expanding and started including juniors in their weekend sides, and it just ballooned, didn't it? I mean,
yeah.
when I
That's when
started
all
playing,
the third teams and the fourth team.
yeah,
There was no fourth teams when we started playing.
yeah.
There was no
I mean,
third teams, really.
there's like fifth and sixth teams now. It's just an obscene number of teams. Like you don't need it.
It, you're moving to, like they say, a super system where in next 5-10 years you can see there being 25, 30 clubs instead of 70, 80,
Yeah,
whatever in the county league, because it will be like that. You cannot compete with
yeah,
the big boys really, and you've either got to be part of it and move with the
yeah,
times and do your all stars and your dynamos and things like that, or be left behind. That's it. The funding streams will just dry up.
yeah. Well, I have a theory. What a thing I'd like to see in local cricket, which it ties into your third point, but we'll come back to that in a bit. Go on to your second offering,
Oh yeah,
which if you'd
T20
like to,
leagues.
yeah,
Yeah, like to see T20 leagues introduced, not T20 cups. T20 leagues.
absolutely.
I'd like a proper like league on a Wednesday night,
I mean,
and have eight teams.
it did used to be a thing, and I know
Yeah,
up around Chesterfield, there's a lot of work teams, which were in
there was works league even in Belper. Yeah,
yeah, and
but
it was a big thing when I
but
first started playing cricket. I played in a few of those competitions. I played for my stepdad's work team, playing in those sort of competitions, and you don't have to go looking around for fixtures because the fixtures are there more than anything.
there. Yeah.
Some people, like take the Dobsons for instance, they like playing Sunday cricket. I'm sure they would love to play 2020 cricket on a Wednesday night, um, like
Yeah.
like a more advanced social team, effectively.
Well, this is what I'm saying. On the Wednesday night, I'll have like to replace the Butley Cup, probably 8 into divisions of 8. So you play 7 fixtures just once, home and away kind of thing,
Yeah,
others, and then have a playoff final at the end of it. Have a
yeah.
finals
Have
Sunday
what kind of
or whatever.
have like 4 leagues, and then the
Yeah,
top two from each go through to the next
yeah.
round, like semi-final, final.
Yeah, I think that would
Yeah,
invigorate. That certainly those competitions competitions. Butley Cup's been dying for years, fewer and fewer sides in it.
Yeah.
Jackson Cup, I think it does well because the Premier Leagues haven't got a T20 competition, so they enter that.
They've changed that to the 100 ball. They've had changed it to the 100 ball. It was the Jackson 100.
And absolutely, why not? That's the way it's going. Like I say, get everybody playing the same kind of form of cricket. You could do 100 balls in junior cricket would work a lot better, because sometimes them 20 over games, when they're not starting until 6:30, can drag on until 9.
I don't get why they start at 6:30. I don't get why junior games start at 6:30. Like, they finish school at 3:30.
Yeah, exactly. But I think if you got, I mean, if you adopted the 100 principles and everything, all the kids will be watching it on the telly, kind of thing. Start it at 6:00 and it's done for 8, 8:30.
Yeah.
It means you can play a longer proportion of the season. Your junior cricket can go on for longer because it's not going dark or start earlier, kind of thing, because it goes dark when they in the early fixtures. April and May are just write-offs, really. Whoever wins the toss wins the match, because they bat first and then they're bowling in the dark.
Yeah.
That's it. So I think there's merits to that.
Yeah, and the point I was making, it actually ties into your third point, which obviously you play a lot of your cricket now at the lower levels, and I can see a lot of yours is around the development and keeping people involved in that level of game, because you start from the bottom upwards, don't you? Everybody comes in the bottom level. Like, you're very rarely under 13 and starting a first team, unless you're an unbelievable talent.
There's a lot get promoted too quickly, too early, but I think it's better to have a plan, like we are seeming to at the moment. If you've got a core of, say, 9 players and 2 juniors in your first team, 7 seniors and 4 juniors in your second team, and probably 5 seniors and 6 juniors in your third team, you've got that kind of thought out, the spaces to grow. There's like I say, natural wastage. People go off left, right, and centre, and you've got that nice steady funnel up. That kids can hopefully get the stats to go on from. Get yourself 20 wickets in the third team, get promoted to the second team. Get yourself 100 in the third team, get promoted. That should be the motivations, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, your 2020 league, I really like that idea. I played a lot of midweek 2020. I think you play coloured kits, pink balls. Yeah, I'd absolutely love it. I think a lot of people will be interested in that. It's something to tick you over to the weekend more than anything. You could train on a Tuesday night, learning a new technique, and it's something you can go and try out on the Wednesday night.
I think the main thing about you mentioned a lot about playing Friday night cricket, and Friday night cricket would work or should work in practice. Tried some of the under-19 matches on a Friday night. Under-19s like that because they can play, a couple of hours and they go out afterwards. They loved it, but groundsmen hated it.
Yeah,
groundsmen who were preparing the squares and things. A lot of these are like Premier League flipping grounds and things, and they're going, don't want anyone near that square on the Friday night in case they do something at it, and they take somebody to rock a pair of studs across next day's wicket, and they get fined, etc., etc. So I think that's the it goes against it. But Friday night cricket could work. But I think Wednesday's a good night.
Yeah.
Wednesday, being like you say, you could train on the Tuesday, play on a Wednesday,
Yeah.
or you can play on the Wednesday, train on the Thursday, and dissect what happened on the Wednesday. You know.
Yeah.
So I think that would work.
Yeah, I completely agree with the idea. Yeah, I'd love to see something like that. It's not even something that you'd have to run through the Derbyshire County Cricket League. It's something what
No.
someone could have settled with a few clubs and say, "Are you interested in
Yeah,
this?" Because you get money behind your bar, and especially
absolutely.
and like this year we might not start. But if we started in August, is it the worst idea to play 4 games midweek? Just play like a little mini competition.
Absolutely.
I know it gets a bit dark in August, but you don't have to play 2020. You don't have to play 100. Play 18 overs.
Yeah. But like I say, embrace that 100 and use that as the thing, and you could. And we say about playing the same format of cricket. Yeah, play the same format of cricket. If it's 16 overs or whatever, it doesn't make it 15 overs. So it's 3 overs a bowler or something like that. 20%, I think I mentioned in one of me. Probably the next.
So going on to your third point then.
Well, as we know, the 40 overs introduction in the bottom 2 divisions has gone down like a storm.
Yeah.
Really well, you know. And I think you could go further, really. Like lots of people have suggested from probably Division 3 down, you could play 40 overs, this or the other. But I think in the bottom divisions, you could go further and bridge that gap to junior cricket, because 20 overs to 40 overs is still double the length. You know, I've plucked out 35 overs because each bowler can only bowl. Go, oh, got to keep him off for him, because you want to see if a young seamer can bowl a decent spell and keep them on, and that's what they should be doing, is bowling out. And I think it would make it easier for captains and things if it was that. Or you could go down to 30 overs and have 6 overs a bowl or whatever, just to bridge that gap. Because one thing I really, really like is the fact that we get finished earlier, we come down, watch the end of the first team match, take the kids back, you know, you can see the end of the match and gel as a club. And for the clubs where they've got 2 pitches on their site, it's absolutely ideal. You know, you should see Denby when they've got, you know, there's finish and they've got like 50, 60 people graduate from the second pitch to the first pitch to add to the crowd and everything. It makes it much better.
Well, I'm going to say yes and no to this. Because I'd like to see a uniformed league where it's all one level. It's all the same rules. So all 40 over cricket. Every division is 40 over cricket, except maybe the Prem, where it's 50, where you're going up that level and you step up and you're playing. You go up and because you're going up for a reason. You're going up to play that level for a reason. It's more challenging. You play 50 over in that level. I like the idea of the percentages of cricket. I don't get it now in Division 8, 9, whatever it is, being 10 overs a bowler, 12 overs a bowler. When it's
30%. At the moment, Mark, it's 30%. If you work it out, 46 overs is 14. If you work it out, 40 overs is 12. Why
it's not 8 overs a bowler at that level when it's predominantly juniors at that level who can't bowl more than 6 or 7 overs anyway? Why it's not 8 overs a bowler, I don't know. Should be 8 overs a bowler. Yeah, I agree with it. My idea for local cricket is teams don't have any more, and this ties back into the point earlier about teams having fifth and 16, fourth, fifth and 16s. It's pointless. It takes away from other clubs because those teams are just juniors which could have been playing at their local clubs. I know this from being at a club what had all the juniors stolen and end up killing the club. What I'd have is you have maximum 3 teams in the league playing 40 over cricket. If you want 4th, 5th, or 6th teams, they can still play on Saturday, but they play in a separate competition, which is a 2020 competition. Because it's still kids, it's predominantly going to be kids. They're still playing the fixture, but they just play a 2020 game, and it's a 20, and that is your 2020 league, and it's for your 4th, 5th, and 6th teams who are under 13s playing what they should be playing at that age. That is what I'd have. But with no like with that separate league, I wouldn't have the same ridiculous fines what they have in this thing. Like if a team does concede, they don't get fined for it. It's like as long as like they might get a point deduction if they do it more than once, but fining teams like with and reducing like the number of kids what want to play, yeah. And that's another rant I'll have about the league, but another day. But that is what I'd like to see.
Yeah. Okay, I get that, but let's say that's going that one step further and just going, 20 overs is what you play during the week, kind of thing, and you play more of it on the Saturday. I think there's just that opportunity to bridge that gap a little bit. Everybody's got. I mean, like, how long would the 30 over match last? It would go on considerably less, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
40 over match.
And
so
4 hours
maybe.
maybe.
5, 6 o'clock every week. It'd be, and to take it from that 7, half 7. Well, yeah, I get what your point with the T20 leagues, but why can't they do that on a Sunday or whatever? Yeah. If you've got that many people, if you've got 5, 6 people wanting to play cricket, populate the Mansfield League. Have 2 or 3 sides in that on a Sunday if you've got the room for it. And keep your 1, 2, 3 teams as the pinnacle on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Put all horses into that.
Yeah. I'd say it does need a massive revamp, and it's not just a massive revamp for Derbyshire, it's just cricket on a whole in this country. And like I'm discussing with Nick, and Jared, it's Cricket Australia. You play the same rules all over the country. It's one uniformed league. I know there's a lot less cities over there, and probably a little bit easier to manage. But the ECB, sure, if you're trying to get someone involved in cricket, and the rules are just different depending on what postcode you're in, it needs to be looked at.
Yeah, it does. But I think Rome wasn't built in a day. I think the ECB's in a lot of good things, but like you say, the dinosaurs at the DCC are very slow moving.
Yeah.
I mean, like it took 12 years from the start of T20 to introduce T20 on a Sunday into the cup competitions, things like that. It's a different world. Like you're missing so much, and all what we've talked about would be positive, things which need to come from the top. It needs, the ECB is the one that controls the game, controls the money and everything. And to think about these things and shape it and introduce them in the right way, and I agree with you, uniformity, go across. you know, a 40 over match is a 40 over match. That's it.
Yeah.
But I've played in time matches and this, that, the other. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It is
Yeah.
learning a whole different set of rules. You know,
This is where I play
there was literally
we play for the same club on a Saturday in the Derbyshire Cricket League, and you can play the same team in the Mansfield and District League the week after. Spondon, for instance,
yeah,
both our second team, seconds and their fourth, are in the same division, Division 6 in Derbyshire Cricket League. We could play them on the Saturday, and then play exactly the same teams on the Sunday. Yeah, we play completely different rules.
yeah.
It's like
And that happened. That happened last year. We were away at Spondon on the Saturday, and it was the following Sunday. We were away at Spondon, you know, and I was involved in both games, and it was funny. There must have been about 7 from each side.
yeah,
were involved in the, you know, same fixture, playing different rules. But,
yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Mansfield and District Leagues make more sense than the Derbyshire Cricket League.
yeah, they do in a lot of respect. I struggled last year. It was when there was a cup fixture. There was 2 cup fixtures. The first and second team were playing in the cup, and the Mansfield League. We were away at Mansfield, and there was me, Nick Dobson, and a bloke who's never played cricket before, and 8 kids. it was like, whoa. But
The
turned up, and you're like,
the year before it was me, Chris Whiteley, Chollers, and then 2 women and a load of under 11s.
yeah,
and we beat them.
yeah. But we took it hammering, but I did the only thing I could. I thought, oh well, won the toss. We'll have a bowl first. Give everybody a bowl at least, you know. And in the end, I think they scored 260 for 5 or something like that, and we were all out for about 80. But the success was putting the 3 sides out on the Sunday at the same time, and people, I mean, like lads who were playing like the first, second Sunday fixture will become fixtures in the third team this year. You know, Max Brown, Evan Dugdale, people like that. You've found another couple of little gems by keeping that Sunday side going, giving them their first chance of senior cricket. And when they make the step up, I say step up to Whitemoor to play in the third team, they'll find it isn't a step up. It's a level playing field. They've got nothing to worry about. They've done it all before, and there you go. So it's certainly a club on the up at the moment, and things like this, Marco, are innovative. The virtual cricket you've done and things like that, it all goes to building a bigger, better club, mate. So, well done.
Just getting our product out there.
Yeah.
We've got an international following now as well. 17% of people are outside of the UK and Australia.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah, quarter of people outside the UK watch these videos.
Blimey, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be interesting. Hey, somebody's watching.
Yeah, it's been brilliant chatting with you. Finding out all about your travels around the world and your travels around Belper effectively.
Yeah. Well, like I say,
down the hill. We still maintain that amateurs aren't in Belper, not in Belper.
No, but there's a story behind that, because they used to be Belper Oberon, and they used to play where the rugby club is on the Oberon playing fields, and they got kicked off there, so they had to move. There were 2 potato fields. That's what they were up there. I think they bought them for £1 each, and one was going to be the rugby club, and one was going to be the cricket club. And the cricket club moved up there, and the rugby club said, "No, it's far too. We'll find somewhere else." And they hung on long enough to strike a deal up with Struts to carry on playing down there. So, whereas amateurs had changed their name and spent 5 years preparing a pitch and everything and decided to do the move.
Still a potato field.
Well, that's why they're not there. Yeah. I don't, it's
I've never
up there
played.
with the facilities.
I've never actually played there. I've watched a game, but I've never played there.
No, you're not missing out too much. It's a lot better than it used to be. It used to be like Whitemore. It used to be a real green member, but now they've got proper covers and things. It's a slow low deck, if anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So yeah. Thank you for your time. Are you not going to ask me who I want to have a go at? Is there anybody I want to?
Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Jamie Rowland definitely gets on my nerves for being bang average. There you go. You know, he needs to go and score some.
He is everyone's favourite cricketer, though.
Big on. Yeah, he is, and I love to smash him for four when he just floats them up outside off stump and hit him for four in that six-a-side thing we had last year. That was good fun. So he's my favourite bowler to face, and definitely Meadows. So yeah, I want him to stop being hashtag bang average and start banging out the averages.
Well, we'll get him on the show and get him his reply for you.
Definitely.
Yeah,
all right then, mate.
I hope the little kitchen opens again soon. I know they're doing delivery.
Yeah, we've had afternoon teas and pizzas and Sunday dinners, so they're keeping us going.
Excellent.
A physique like this, it takes some fuel.
I'll see you soon then, mate. Good chatting.